What's up, y'all? Welcome to the very first episode of Life After 20 Years in Prison. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'm just going to touch on a little backstory. Not the headlines, not the paperwork, not the rumors, but just the real human story. I'm going to tell you who I was, who I became, and who I'm trying to be. Why? Simply to give a voice to people like me and hopefully get a little bit of understanding and, work through this thing called reentry. I grew up in a world where surviving was better than dreaming and reacting was better than planning. And, of course, I was just a kid, 17 years old, headstrong, fresh out of juvenile detention, thought I had everything figured out. And come to find out, I had very little figured out. I was trying to be somebody before I even knew myself. And that alone is just a learning curve that takes time. I'm still trying to get to know myself. So, one day, woke up and my whole world changed. Felt like I had to protect a little girl. And nobody else was stepping up. So I tried to take that man's life. Do I regret it? Not one bit. Now, I know we're supposed to have remorse for our crimes and, wrong to be done on people. But pedophiles just don't get no type of sympathy, empathy, any of that from me. And, sadly enough, with everything I've attained in my life and being out after 8 years, I'd give it up all again to protect another kid. But what came afterwards, walking into prison for that first time, I remember, man, it was Fremont, and I was like, what the fuck? 3 tiers stretching just long as fuck, and it just felt like a movie, surreal. I was only 17 years old. And, got all the people hollering, where you from, white boy? Got any homies? What food you from? You know what I mean? And it's just kind of a shell shock, even for somebody who's affiliated with people and, really don't have no worries. Little ass kid, it's just kind of daunting. And, 20 years later, when they crack them gates, it's just surreal. Everything changes. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of be prepared to understand that the world you left is no longer the world you know. And then you got to fight the demons and face the fact that is this a world you even belong in? So let me ask you the question everybody really wants to know. What does 20 years do to somebody on the inside? To be honest with you, I was just a kid trying to act like a man. And trying to act like a man, I got 20 years to sit down and figure out what the fuck I was going to do with my life. Either grow or die. And I chose to grow. It took a while and a lot of fucking learning curves, a lot of stumbling blocks. And even now, I'm in the middle of growth, rebirth, redemption. So it's not like once you get it figured out that you have it. Because unfortunately, somebody that's been on the inside for 20 years, their mind has been programmed, or it's become a habit, to think the worst. You don't trust people because on the inside, even your best friend has some underlying fucking shit going on. And if it got him something beneficial, you'd be out the way. And, it's a hard adjustment because when you go in there, these people, they know and love you for who you are. And then through the process, you start to lose yourself, reinvent yourself, and become somebody completely different just out of survival. And, it's your predator or your prey. That's just the simple fact of it. And ain't nobody in their right mind gonna choose to be prey. So when you get out, your family members expect the same person to return. And then you're not the same person, but you still got the same heart, the same soul, essentially. But you just struggle because how do you trust these people? You don't even really know these people. They don't even really know you. And then people show you kindness. You don't understand it. I don't know why you being so nice to me. And for me, I just tend to push people away. And then I come to find out presence even, to fuck their feelings. Their presence wasn't even recognized. And, I have people constantly trying to reach out and help me, I'm just like, get the fuck away from me, man, I got this shit. And then I start, feeling bad about myself, like, what the fuck, man, you can't do this, you can't work a normal job, you fucking got anger issues, you don't like being around people, and, that shit just starts spinning around in your mind, and it's just endless, and to be honest with you, it's exhausting. And I'm here to tell my story in hopes that it helps people get from point A to point B instead of having to go through all these motherfucking letters and get to fucking Z, only to realize they only needed answer B. If that makes sense. So, yeah, it just alters you in ways that you really don't understand. And even now, I'm figuring it out. Like, I'll go lay a whole destructive ass path and then look back and be like, wow, that was a bunch of fucking friendly fire. I just hit all my motherfucking allies. The thing I value the most, though, is that 20 years has taught me that ego is expensive and peace is priceless. And, maybe we can jump into a little bit more of that in the next episode. If y'all have questions, feel free to drop them. If y'all want me to talk about something specific, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Get a few more subscribers and be able to go live, and I don't know, we just dive deeper into this little healing journey of mine and trying to help other people get an understanding of people like me and families like mine. So I appreciate everybody for paying attention, liking the video, subscribing, and yeah, let's talk about it.